report is now before the president. He made the statement after a meeting of the National Security Council at the presidential villa in Abuja. He added that the officials whose action or failure to act made the assault successful have been identified. Jailed former Mile Secretary Mr. Francis Gudianga has told the Zimbabwean High Court that he has more points to add to his appeal against conviction and sentence, resulting in the hearing being pushed to a later date. The hearing is now set for July 27 to allow his lawyer to refresh heads of arguments. The case will be heard before Justice Benjamin Chikuwero. It was gathered that Mr. Gudianga is serving 2.5 years for abusing his duties as a public officer. The professor was convicted in February this year by a Harare magistrate, Barbara Chiboza, on charges of fraud after receiving $28,910 board member fees from the Minerals Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe for 3 years, despite the fact that the board had not been constituted. Former Mines Secretary was charged alongside former Mines Minister Walter Jidakwa, who was however acquitted at the close of the state's case. The court held that sometime in December 2013, Jidakwa corruptly dissolved the MMCZ board and proceeded to illegally appoint Gudianga to act as the board's only member. Over a 3-year period, Gudianga received varying payments monthly for board members and meetings, which were never held. In his notice of appeal filed earlier through his lawyer, Norma Mugia, Gudianga said he would appeal against both conviction and sentence. In continuation of trips to different provinces across Iran, President Ibrahim Raisi, as his 29th official tour, have arrived in Markazi province at the head of a high-ranking delegation. Several Iranian ministers, vice presidents, and special representatives are accompanying President Raisi on his trip to Markazi to prepare a report on the problems and capacities of the province. Information has it that meeting with representatives of different groups of people is one of the agenda during the president's visit to the province. This is the World at Noon coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. Ilé Abuja Okebale Oshogbo, Voice of the West. Now, our news message. Security of lives and property should not be left alone in the hands of security operatives. Be security conscious. A woman from India's tribal minority has been elected as the country's president with the backing of the ruling party, making her the first person from this high community to occupy the top post and the second ever woman to hold the position. According to reports, Ms. Jopadi Momo secured the largest ceremonial position with the support of more than half the electorate of MPs and state legislators. Partial results released by the Election Commission showed Ms. Mormi, 64, will be formally sworn in as the president on Monday. She started out as a school teacher before entering politics and has been a two-time lawmaker from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's party. Ms. Momu's father and her grandfather were village headmen in Badapose in Mojubani district in Odisha. Ms. Momu's supporters on Modi's BJP party see her win as a triumph of tribal people and a breakthrough moment for her community, which generally lacks health care and education facilities in remote villages. It was also gathered that opposition parties, however, are doubtful whether she will be able to help empower and bring any change to her community. Senior Sri Lankan lawmaker Dinesh Guandanena has been sworn in as the new Prime Minister. Seen as an ally of the Rajapaksa's political family, his appointment today came just hours after security forces cleared the main protest site occupied for months by demonstrators angry at the Rajapaksas over the country's economic collapse. Guandanena, 73, is a school classmate of new President Rani Wickremesinghe, who was elected by lawmakers and sworn into office earlier this week. Gona Wadena belongs to a prominent political family. A former minister from the Podujana Paramuna party, Gona Wadena took the oath of office in the presence of Wikre Mesingi, seated in front of uniformed military officers in a room packed with lawmakers and officials. According to reports, the rest of the cabinet is expected to be sworn in later today. Government in Japan has announced that it will hold a state funeral for assassinated former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, with foreign leaders expected to attend. According to information, the ceremony will be held on September 27 at Tokyo's Nippon Budokan, a large venue that has hosted concerts and sports events and was used for Japan's last state funeral for a former Prime Minister in 1967. Government spokesperson Hirokazu Matsuto said Abe's record as Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister, his truly praiseworthy achievements, and his ties with foreign leaders made a state funeral appropriate. Matsuno said the event will be non-denominational, simple, and sober, adding that costs were still being studied. It was gathered that the plan faces some pushbacks, with opposition parties questioning spending public money on an event for a political leader. A group of activities asked a Tokyo court to issue an injunction stopping the funeral, though the government has said it does not view the event as pushing a political position on the public. And here again are the highlights of the world at noon. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has received a preliminary report of the investigation into Kuje break. The jail's Secretary, Mr. Francis Yanga, has told the Zimbabwean High Court that he has more points to add to his appeal against conviction and sentence, resulting in the hearing being pushed to a later date. Senior lawmaker Dinesh Guadanena has been sworn in as the new Prime Minister. Put together by Nathaniel Ujegoke and delivered by Olushayo Babatunde. News talk by Adeniyi Kende of our editorial desk focuses on the dangers inherent in the habit of embracing self-medication. It describes the habit as a canker which has eaten deep into the fabrics of the society.
Self-medication, which has been existing from time immemorial, has also become a canker one which has eaten deep into the fabric of the society at large. It has been established in various quarters that various categories of people do engage or indulge in self-medication. Hence, people from all segments of the society engage in it, and many find it very convenient because they have a ready access to medications purchased across the counter. Though it has been noticed that at times nothing absolutely happens as a result of self-medication, but sometimes the consequences are grievous and catastrophic. Nisok believes that it is important, if not absolutely important, to seek medical advice or consultation when one discovers some abnormalities in the body system or chemistry. It is often wise from individual to see experts who will listen to one's medical complaints and challenges with a view to diagnosing and subsequently prescribing appropriate drugs to those who need it. Malaria fever, for instance, is a system common to so many illnesses. It is a physician who studies the pattern of a fever that can tell with some certainty which disease is likely responsible for its particular pattern of fever. Records have shown that a large number of people, when they fall sick, either consult a local chemist and obtain medicines from there, or may consult a neighbor who may have some tablets to spare, though sometimes nothing serious happens on following such advice, but it could be very dangerous to human health. Newstock posits that pharmacists, on the other hand, have a major role to play in providing people with assistance, advice, and information about non-prescription medicine available for self-medication. Although medicine for self-medication are often called non-prescription or over-the-counter, were said to be readily available without a doctor's prescriptions through pharmacies in some countries of the world. Hence, medicine that requires a doctor's prescription are called prescription product. It has been established that a person may also self-medicate by taking more or less than the prescribed or recommended dose. Hence, incorrect dosage of medicines will cure but may prolong recovery. On the other hand, overdosage may damage vital parts, organs of the body. Also, indiscriminate use of antibiotics could over a long time lead to antimicrobial resistance, and subsequently the antibiotic may become ineffective when taken in the future. Investigation conducted by medical experts over a year revealed that self-medication by pregnant women could adversely affect the unborn child and subsequently causing congenital abnormalities and birth defects. Newstalk findings revealed that the socio-economic problem in the country has compelled the generality of the people to be engaged in self-medication without minding its consequences. Another school of thought maintained that self-medication varies significantly with a number of socio-economic characteristics, and the main reason that was indicated for the self-medication was financial constraints and at times greater access to drugs and desire to be self-reliant on the parts of some individuals. Newstalk is of the opinion that pharmacists and manufacturers of non-prescription medicines have the responsibilities of providing high-quality services to the responsibilities of providing high-quality services to the public and encouraging the responsible advanced use of medicine. To this end, pharmacists must be properly trained to equip them to providing sound advice to people on medicines or drugs. Also, advertising is also helpful in informing people about medicines that are available without prescription. Self-medication usually involves common drugs which are freely available. The use of these drugs by the people often delays proper treatment of disease. They also account for a lot of hazards such as positioning, allergy, habituation, addiction, and other adverse reaction. The most misused drugs in this part of the world are analgesics or pain relievers and laxatives, among others. Newstalk, however, implores pharmacists and non-prescription medicine industry to put heads together to ensure that self-medication is totally eradicated in the society. People of all categories must shun the habits of self-medication. Rather, they should consult a qualified physician when the need arises. Newstalk posits that people should be keen to accept responsibilities for their health status and obtain as much information from the people and experts in order to helping them make right decisions pertaining to their health issues. Government and health givers, on the other hand, should increasingly encourage people to avoid treating themselves without supervision and educate them on the persecutions therein. A switch in time saves 9.
That Newstalk focused on the dangers inherent in the habit of embracing self-medication and emphasized on the healthy living by all. It was written by Adeni Kendi of our editorial desk and read by Olushola Egbedofo. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
Radio 104.5 FM, Voice of the West.